Hey guys, welcome back to Cruising with Matthew, and today in episode 11, the final instalment of my P&O Azura vlog series, I'm going to be talking all about my favourite memories of this cruise with my mum and my sister as we explore some fantastic ports in the Mediterranean and had so much fun doing it. So I really hope that you enjoy this video. Now, one of my favourite memories of this cruise has to be being part of the Azura vocalist choir. Now, this is something that I have done pretty much every cruise that I have ever been on, and I would recommend it to everyone because it was just so much fun and it gave me the opportunity to really get to know other people, and it was really fun because I love singing. I did a lot of choirs at university and college in chamber choir as well as a cappella, so this was really nice to do on a cruise. The songs weren't too technical, it tended to be things like musicals and Disney, and it was a really relaxed atmosphere. And after speaking to a lot of people, they all said very similar things, and it also encouraged some people to actually go to choirs themselves when they got home, which I thought was really nice. Another part of this was the fact that we got to know two members of the headliners vocalists, Ben and Annie, who were absolutely incredible, and they had such a good dynamic between each other. They were always laughing and they got the work done, but it was just brilliant, and I was really sad to actually say goodbye to them on our last day. And it was also quite cool to be actually on speaking terms with members of the crew, because I was almost a little bit starstruck because these individuals are so talented. So being able to speak to them and get to know a bit more about what life is like for them was really interesting, and I would urge anyone to go on these choirs if they are available on your cruise. Now, probably one of my most unique memories of Azura was the fact that I got my final year university results on Azura as she sailed from Cadiz to Barcelona, and it was the weirdest experience to be getting these hugely important grades which would determine my entire degree classification in biomedical science whilst sitting near the terrace pool whilst Azura was sailing in the Mediterranean Sea, and it definitely just made the whole experience seem even more surreal. And although I was quite nervous, the results did come through quite quickly, so the nerves turned into a day of celebration after I found out that I received a first class honours degree in biomedical science. So I was over the moon that day, and what made it even nicer was the fact that my sister had actually forewarned Ben and Annie that I was getting my results, so they all initially wished me good luck thinking that the results hadn't come through, but when they found out that I'd got my results, everyone gave me a big round of applause, and that was lovely. And as I went throughout the day, periodically people would stop, say well done, and that was just really nice, and I couldn't think of a better place to celebrate my exam results than on the back of a cruise ship. And one thing is for certain, me and my sister definitely had a lot of cocktails that night to celebrate. Now, cruises offer a huge amount of opportunity to explore places that you've always wanted to visit, and this cruise was no exception. And although we explored a huge suite of ports, I have to admit my favourite moment has to be on the Gaudi tour in Barcelona and actually being able to go inside the Sagrada Familia. Now, it is one of Barcelona's most iconic landmarks, but it seemed that most tours and excursions never really offer the opportunity to go into the Sagrada Familia, and I'm so thankful that I did, because it was the most humbling experience I've had in quite a while. And I'm not religious, but I was so moved by this place, and in true Gaudi fashion, it was unlike anything I've ever seen, and the use of natural stained glass creating a beautiful array of colours as sunlight beamed in was absolutely stunning, and I would urge anyone to do this when they are in Barcelona because it was just fantastic. And we got to explore other areas as well, such as Gaudi's Park Güell, so that was absolutely incredible. Another quite serendipitous experience has to be the sailing into Gibraltar, and one of the things that I adore about cruising is that you get to see the world in a slightly unique way, and this is definitely something that I experienced when we sailed into Gibraltar. Now, I got up at about 6-7 a.m. to see the sail into Gibraltar because I've always wanted to see what the rock looks like, and I got that and so much more because the sun was just rising and you had the rock essentially silhouetted in black against the beautiful colours of the sunrise, and it was absolutely incredible. And these pictures really don't do it justice, but it felt almost quite eerie, and then it made me actually quite emotional because I just thought how lucky I was to experience this. And things like sunsets and sunrises are things that everyone takes for granted, but on a cruise and at sea especially, they seem to become even more amazing. With it being early morning, there was barely anyone on deck, but those people who got up like me were both equally impressed with the sunrise, and you could tell that we all felt quite lucky to be able to see that. Another favourite of Azura has to be simply spending time with my family, and this is one of the main reasons why I go on cruises, is purely just to be able to spend a period of time with my friends and or family in a fantastic environment where you get to explore beautiful places on these gorgeous ships away from the rushes of everyday life. And it was really important because I'd just finished university, my sister was getting a house, and it was really quite a special 2 weeks because we were able to have numerous laughs and jokes and really just enjoy our time on board Azura. And that is something that I'm so thankful for the opportunity for, especially considering the fact of what was going to come the year after. And I hope that I get to go and cruise with my entire family very soon, but I'm looking forward to going on a cruise with my mum on board Iona and Queen Elizabeth this summer, so that will be fantastic. Another fantastic moment was when Azura was sailing between Barcelona and Livorno, and in conjunction with it being extremely hot and sunny, there wasn't a breath of wind, so the sea was a flat calm and it pretty much looked like glass. And I've never been on a sea day where it's almost impossible to determine where the horizon and the sea meet because it is so flat. And what made it even cooler was the fact that as Azura was sailing, it didn't really look real and it felt like there'd been a glitch in the Matrix, or you were in a game where the graphics hadn't rendered properly because it was just so calm. And that was something I couldn't take my eyes off for like entire sea day because it's something I haven't experienced and I might not for a while, so that was really cool. And it's these little things that you don't really get to appreciate when you're on land, but when you're in the middle of the ocean, you notice these little quirks of nature and it really makes you appreciate the ocean so much more when you're on a cruise. I also really enjoyed experiencing Azura. Now, I hadn't actually been on a Grand Class ship before, very different to the other ships that I'd been on, including Britannia and Aurora, but equally as impressive. She really absorbed the number of passengers that she had, and I loved spending time in her atrium, especially in one of the nearby bars. And she was also the perfect ship to enjoy the summer sun because you had that big sea screen and numerous amounts of deck chairs, so there was plenty of space for people to sunbathe even during those hot Mediterranean sea days. And even though she was quite a big ship, she also had tons of unique spaces, little hideaway areas that you could go if you wanted a bit of peace and quiet. And one of those areas was definitely Azura's clamshell bow, or the secret bow. And this was a fantastic vantage point to be able to watch Azura cutting through the waves on sea days, or watching Azura manoeuvre her way out of port during sailaways or sail-ins, such as when we arrived into Gibraltar. It was very quiet because I feel like people didn't know how to get there, but again, it's one of Azura's best vantage points in my opinion, so I'd make sure that you seek it out when you get to go on her. So I'm really glad that I chose Azura, and I think that anyone who goes on board her will have a fantastic time. With that in mind, another fantastic memory was just being able to enjoy cocktails in the Planet Bar. Now this was a really unique bar on board Azura, as it essentially hung over the side of the ship, so you either got wake views at the back, or if you were lucky enough to get onto the side of the bar, you could look all the way down the side of the ship, and that is something you don't often get to see. So we spent pretty much every single evening just having a few cocktails before dinner with some canapes and chatting with my family and watching the sunset, or later in the evening and listening to some live music. And I definitely look forward to more of those days hopefully in the future. And finally, just being able to go on a cruise. I never fail to be amazed by what you get on a cruise, and I firmly believe that cruises are for everyone because the amount of value that is included within a cruise is astronomical. There are very few places in the world where you're able to have fantastic food, brilliant drinks, and then be able to go to a theatre with standards equivalent to that of the West End, and then go to sleep and wake up in a fantastic port the next day. It truly is a unique experience, but also a brilliant experience, and I may be biased, but I would urge everyone to consider something like this. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog series because I absolutely loved making it, and hopefully we can all get to making some fantastic cruise memories in the future. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe because it's always appreciated. If you want to know more about cruising with Matthew, then take a look at my other social media sites. The links are in the description below. I hope you're doing well with everything that's going on at the moment, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. So until next time, this is Cruising with Matthew, and thank you so much for watching.